Good morning, Chelsea. Here's your machine, the Breville Barista Pro BES878 in silver. As you saw in the photos, it's in fairly good condition. I have used it for about a year now, and some light scratches, especially around the front. So mainly here, some scratches here, and wear and tear, regular wear and tear, I would say. So nothing too bad, and it's really clean on the sides and on the front. So I'm very happy with this condition. And of course, I've maintained it meticulously. I've always done the backflush and descale on time, filter changes, etc. So in this video, I'm going to quickly make you a double shot latte. So firstly, I like to begin my sessions with a blank shot. So this machine is super fast. It turns on from cold in 5 seconds. Literally, that's all it takes. But the boiler is hot, but the entire machine is not hot. So some parts of the machine are still cold. For example, the handle, the cup, and the group head. I'm just looking for a cup to get. So I like to run a blank shot just to run hot water through the system. So that's going to heat up my internals some more and my cup as well. So you can run a single or a double. Let's do a double. Here are the accessories that it comes with, of course, as you saw in the photos. Milk jug, razor, cleaning tools, and the other filter baskets which are inside the drip tray. If you pull it out, you'll see those. So you can do this once or twice. These buttons here are programmable, and I think I've programmed this to a double shot, 40 gram quantity. If you wanted to manually give coffee and dose your coffee manually, just hold it and then let go. It'll keep going and going until you stop it. So maybe for your blank shots, you can hold the button so that it gives you more water. For example, to fill your cup halfway. Really well. So I'm going to put this on the side. It's nice and hot now. And I will take out the portafilter. I want to dry this portafilter before making my coffee. Sorry, before grinding my coffee. I'm going to grab a tissue here. This machine takes, this double basket actually takes 18 grams of coffee. So I'm going to use my scale here to dose 18 grams. I'm not sure if you can see on the photo. So grind size at the moment is at number 10, and I'm using the Aldi Ethiopia beans. So these will, depending on your bean, you might need to change the grind size. So usually fresh beans or a freshly opened bag of beans will need a fairly large or a relatively large grind size, whereas if you use stale beans, you might need to grind them really fine to get that flow and pressure. So yeah, I recommend you try to use fresh beans as much as possible. And if that's not within the budget, I mean, Aldi is a great choice. They're not very expensive either. I use Aldi on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, so grind size number 10. You may need, so for example, when you receive the machine, keep it at grind size number 10, see how you go. From experience, I know the texture of the coffee beans and what will be a good grind size and what will not. So I've adjusted it to grind size number 10. But the only way to confirm that it's the correct grind size is by actually making a coffee. So let's make the latte now and check if we need to change the grind size or not. So if it's too runny, I would make the grind size 1 or 2 numbers finer. If it's too quick and watery, I would make it 1 or 2 grind sizes coarser. Sorry, I'll start again. If it's too runny and too weak, I would make the grind size finer. If it's too slow and short, I would increase the grind size 1 or 2 numbers. I hope that makes sense. And I'm going to use the scale again to dose 18 grams. So you can select single or double. I personally like to keep it on single and do it 2 times. That's about 10 grams at 8 seconds. So let's bring that down to let's bring that to 6.5 seconds. Let's see how we go. Okay, that's 9 grams. I'm going to click it again, 6.5 seconds. Let's see how we go. Okay, that looks better. That's exactly 18 grams, so 6.5 seconds on the grind timer. So if you do that twice, that's about 13 seconds. Perfect, I'm very happy with that. So 17.9 grams into the double basket. I'm going to tamp it nice and firm. Make sure you apply even pressure. You don't have to put your entire body weight on it. But make sure you tamp nice and even. And just polish it at the end by spinning. As you see, it's a nice even surface, no gaps, and it's like the same level all around. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to clean the edges. And if you don't have a scale and you're wondering how am I going to get 18 grams every time, just make sure you keep the grinder. So if you leave the settings as is, usually you'll be getting the same amount. So unless you change your beans. So if I keep this all the time, if I keep this forever, it'll keep giving me about 18 grams for a double shot. So and if you want to confirm that you have 18, just look at the tamper. So after you grind and tamp, the grinder will go as deep as the silver cap here. So the silver line is about the depth that the tamper will go to if you have 18 grams. See, just like that. So more or less, it doesn't have to be exact, but that's the depth, as you see from the edge to the coffee. It's about this depth. So just like that. Hope that makes sense. And then I'm going to screw it in nice and tight. You can run another blank shot just to heat things up. Here's my hot water. I'm going to dump this into the sink. That's good. Lock it in nice and tight. The head seal, so the rubber seal on this handle, is fairly new, so you might not want to push it all the way to the right. I mean, you can, but I wouldn't force the handle. So as you see, it's about dead center now, and it's fairly tight. It's not going to leak. It's not going to pop off. So dead center is okay, but maybe over the years you want to bring it a little bit to the right, so 5 o'clock position. But at the moment, it's at 6 o'clock position. So, there's also the hot water tap, of course, so I'm going to use that. That'll give me clean hot water from the boiler. So it's in a very nice place because you can put the cup here and turn it on, and it'll make your espresso into a long black coffee, Americano coffee. So it's very, very handy, I would say. I use it to either warm up my cups when they're cold, or in this case, I like to add a little bit of hot water to dissolve my sugar, because I add sugar before the espresso, and I think that helps. Like for example, if you use sweetener or syrups, adding it before the espresso helps it mix better as the espresso comes down. That's good. So I'm just going to mix it up. Again, I'm going to use the scale now to measure the dose. I believe I've already set it to the right amount, but like I said, these buttons are programmable. You can go to the menu, change the length of these buttons. Among other things, you can do a lot of other things. For example, cleaning cycle, descan cycle, even changing the temperature on the boiler. You can do that from the setting. So, so I've put 18 grams of ground coffee in. I want to double that for espresso. So 18 grams in, 36 grams out. So I'm going to aim for about 35 to 40. That's a good range. And I'm going to use the scale to confirm. If you don't have a scale, you can just eyeball it. It doesn't have to be exactly 36 grams on the dot. Just whatever tastes good and whatever looks like it's in the right ballpark. I'm also going to pay attention to the flow. I want the flow to be nice and smooth, not too runny, not too slow. Just like that. It looks perfect. It's nice and smooth, like a consistent flow, almost like warm honey, I would say. So it does have a timer here. You can check how many seconds it took, but it's gonna stop by flow and volume, so it'll give you the exact amount of water. There we go. Took 33 seconds. That couldn't be better, actually. So that's exactly what I was aiming for. And this is 40 grams exactly. So 40 grams, I'm happy with that. If it was more like 45, I'd want to make it a little bit shorter, but 40 is more than adequate. And it's got really good crema. And it smells really, really good. Oh wow. What's next? Let's do the milk now. I'm just gonna grab my jug. Milk steamer is very quick on this one, so you just open it and it turns on within like 5 seconds, which is really, really quick. The technique that I'm going to use, I'm going to put the wand at an angle, try to spin the milk in a vortex, keeping the tip of the wand close to the surface of the milk, so that I'm injecting air as I spin it. Make sure you purge your wand just to get rid of the milk. And then turn it off. Also, make sure you wipe it off straight away. Because obviously it gets really hot on there, and the milk will stick to it. It will actually bake onto the wand unless you wipe it off straight away. So the sooner you wipe it, the easier it is to remove. That's it. Make sure you get all the edges, so the bottom, the sides, the back. The more you take care of this machine, the more it'll take care of you. So it's good to keep it nice and clean. And after I'm done with coffee brewing, I'm going to knock it out. And then I'm going to run a blank shot again to clean things up this time. So it'll clean up the head and the handle in one motion. That's all. The machine will remind you when to flush, it'll remind you when to descale, and I guess every time you flush, you can change the filter just to be safe. Here's my milk. I'm gonna tap it down to break any bubbles, and then I'm gonna swirl it around to keep it mixed up. And then pour. Here's the final result. More of a cappuccino, latte hybrid. But with some practice, you can do latte art on this machine. Incredible things that you can do with this machine. Hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to message me. Yeah. See ya.